Okay, let's dig into the gameplay aspect of ZombieLand. ZombieLand is a top-down action-adventure shooter. Top-down refers to the player's view of the game world, which will be directly overhead, approximately 50 to 100 feet from the ground. The screen will be locked in the landscape orientation at all times. Characters. The main character of the game is Jason Sergeant Payne, an ex-Army Green Beret, haunted by his past, but galvanized with new purpose. Other characters of note are Jimbo Bazowski, Jason's nerdy and quirky high school buddy, and finally the Professor, a mysterious character that promises salvation for the survivors of the outbreak. Enemies. Each level will have a unique set of zombie mutations. Different zombies will have different strengths and weaknesses, and periodically Jason will have to fight an epic zombie that is a random zombie from the ranks of the available zombie mutations, but with an added ability. In addition, there will be bands of nefarious humans that will have different armaments to contend with, and different oddball or lunatic leaders to fight with their own epic-like abilities. Storyline. The game starts in a small American town in central Pennsylvania, where a biological outbreak of unknown origin has turned most of its inhabitants into extremely hostile zombies. Recently, discharged from the Army after 2 consecutive tours in Afghanistan, Jason A. Payne, or Sergeant Payne as he was known by the troops under his charge, just wants to relax and forget the terrible things he witnessed overseas. In the cinematic intro, he is soon thrust into a much more horrific situation, when everyone he knows starts turning into flesh-eating zombies. Haunted by demons in his past and suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, Sergeant Payne is unable to save his family as the house he grew up in is attacked by zombies. Only when he is attacked directly do his soldier's instincts kick in and save him from certain death. He escapes the house, terrified and confused, with his father's 9mm Beretta in hand. Prologue. The prologue finds Sergeant Payne trying to escape his zombie-infested town. The encounters become tougher as he progresses until Payne finds himself trapped in a small alleyway behind Main Street. In the prologue ending cinematic, he is inexplicably saved when a fire escape ladder is lowered from one of the second-story windows above him. Upon climbing into the window, he is greeted by a familiar face. Jimbo Bazowski was a close high school friend of Jason's who had lost his legs in a car accident while Jason was away. After the accident, Jimbo had taken up amateur radio, or ham radio, as a hobby, and as Payne looks around, he sees that Jimbo has a rather complex setup in his little apartment. Jimmy tells Jason about a group in Montana led by a man named the Professor. Jimmy says the Professor is offering safe haven for anyone who can make it there. Struggling to find meaning in an insane world, and yearning to make up for past sins, Jason decides to volunteer his unique skill set to spread the word about the haven to any survivors he can find on his way to Montana. Distraught that he cannot save Jimmy because of his injury, but invigorated by having a purpose that feels right, Jason leaves his boyhood home. Objectives. Each level will be a major U.S. city on the way to Montana. Sergeant Payne will have to navigate the city streets looking for survivors. Each level will have a set number of survivors to find, along with a number of bonus survivors that will be more difficult. Along the way, Jason will also have to find other ham radio operators, designated by Jimmy, in order to relay intelligence to Montana about the city and receive any special missions the Professor may have. These special missions include gathering samples of different zombie mutations, reporting on zombie migration patterns, and killing any marauding bands of people that threaten the mission. When Jason dies, he will respawn at the last completed objective. The climactic objective of the game will be saving the Overrun compound in Montana from a group called the Militia of Montana. The Professor may have created a vaccine that protects the survivors from the outbreak, and it's up to Jason to save this beacon of hope before it's wiped out. Cooperative play. Cooperative gameplay consists of players fighting together to complete the game. There will be a maximum player count of 3. Each player will automatically be assigned a player color upon joining a game, and the player's pro tag will be displayed above the player in the player's color. The game will multiply the health, damage, and population of the level's enemies by the number of players to continue to present a challenge to groups of players. Main menu. After launching the game, the player will be presented with the main menu. From the main menu, the player will be able to search for games in progress to join via the Join Game button, create a game via the Create Game button, change game settings via the Settings button, go to the Trading Hub via the Trading Hub button, view character inventory via the Inventory button, and view, add, or join friends via the Social button. If the player has not signed into GameSphere, our new gameplay account service, they will be presented with a wizard to do so. This process includes creating a pro tag, which is the name that other players will search and know the player by. The Join Game button will launch a menu where the player can join unlocked games in progress or search games in progress based on an acquaintance's GameSphere pro tag or quickly join a friend's game. The Create Game button will allow the player to create a locked or unlocked game and select what level to start the game in. Only levels the player has completed will be available. The Settings button will allow the player to adjust in-game music, effects volume, and microphone settings for cooperative play. The Trading Hub button will open the Trading Hub, where the player will be able to trade any items acquired in-game with any other player. Finally, the Inventory button displays all items the player character has acquired and a graphical representation of equipped items. The player can swap equipped items and view item details. In-game menu. The in-game menu is identical to the main menu, except it replaces the Join Game button and Create Game button with the Quit Game button and the main menu button. The Quit Game button completely closes the game, whereas the main menu button quits the current game and presents the main menu. Controls. The player will control the main character via virtual touch controls set on the left bottom and right bottom of the screen. On the left bottom of the screen will be the movement control, which will be transparent and exist anywhere in the lower left quarter of the screen where the player places their left thumb. The exception to this will be the Heal or Eat Food button, which will be located at the bottom edge of the screen. Movement will occur as expected with the character moving with the player's thumb movements. The movement area will allow for 8 different vectors of movement. On the right bottom of the screen will be the firing controls. The firing area will also be transparent and exist anywhere in the lower right quarter of the screen where the player places their right thumb. The exception to this will be the Grenade button, which will reside at the bottom edge of the screen, position mirroring the Heal button, and the Switch Weapon button, which will appear on the right edge of the screen in the lower right quarter. The firing area will fire the selected weapon and will also dictate the direction of fire for the selected weapon and grenades. In this way, it is possible to fire while backing up or strafing from side to side. Centered at the bottom edge of the screen will be the Pause button, which will also allow the player to access the in-game menu. Heads-up display. In addition to controls, there will be a few static heads-up display items. First, in the upper right corner of the screen, will be the ammo count of the currently equipped weapon and grenades. Also, the health bar. A thin horizontal strip will be centered at the top of the display. In the upper left corner of the display will be a semi-transparent objective arrow, which will point toward the current level's objective. To supplement the health bar, due to its small size, the screen edges will fade out to red and throb like a heartbeat when the character gets below 20% health. Finally, at the bottom edge of the display, right above the Pause button, will be the body counter. This will count the number of kills the player has racked up in the current level. If playing cooperatively, the body counter will display each player's kills. They will be color-coded to the player's color.